President Cyril Ramaphosa is on an oversight visit today at the South African Revenue Service National Command Centre in Pretoria. He'll also be briefed on the operations and ongoing modernisation of the centre, which is designed to monitor tax compliance, revenue collection and several other tasks. Ramaphosa, in fact, will deliver the keynote address there. SABC News reporter Nosipho Radebe is already at the venue for us and joins us live from Pretoria. And Nosipho, often when we speak about SOEs that have been hollowed out by state capture, many point to SARS as having in some ways averted that. I imagine that's going to be top of mind for the president and many others accompanying him on that oversight visit.
Certainly, and a very good morning to you, Ayanda, and to the viewers at home. Of course, the stage has been set and preparations are underway then, of course, for the President to deliver the keynote address here at the SARS National Command Centre in Pretoria. But of course, as you outline, the work of SARS is quite important, and we are expecting to get an address from the President, or of course, for him to signal then his expectations for the revenue service going forward. But that keynote address will be preceded by, of course, an oversight visit to the operational units here, or the various business units here at the National Command Centre, including customs then, and of course the taxpayer engagement unit. So the President, of course, will be engaging with various stakeholders today, and he will be accompanied, of course, by, as you point out, National Treasury, the Finance Ministry, and of course SARS itself, the Commissioner, Edward Kieswetter, and of course Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana expected all here. But as you pointed out earlier, Ayanda, of course SARS has been hit by, of course, state capture, and we saw that the revenue service did struggle under those years, but things have been turning around. We saw recently at the last midterm budget that SARS managed to increase its revenue collection, and it was ahead of target. And we know that SARS, of course, is an important part of the South African economy because it provides the revenue then for state services. And so now, of course, this oversight visit coming ahead of this year's national budget, which will be taking place later this month, and the efforts then, we'll get an update from the efforts from SARS to modernize its framework and, of course, make sure that taxpayers are compliant. One of the of course, the highlights will be the e-invoicing and VAT modernized framework. We'll be getting an update on that. And that is to ensure then that the sort of VAT framework, or the VAT value chain for businesses, that's modernized and set up to date, so that businesses, because we know in the past that there have been issues with businesses not complying or manipulating the system when it comes to the VAT framework. And that's as a result of the sort of manual nature of the whole setup. And so SARS is now moving then to modernize that and ensure that it can get real-time sort of monitoring of that service, so that it can ensure that everything is up to date and that there's no sort of manipulation as we've seen in the past of that. But of course, the SARS, the importance of SARS is also quite critical when we look at illicit flows within the economy. So modernizing and ensuring that SARS can, of course, track then the flows within the country is critical, because we've seen, of course, the likes of BAT. They've come under pressure, or sort of just highlighted the issues around illicit trade of cigarettes and how that hampers in revenue for businesses that are legitimate, and trying then, of course, to ensure that they comply with the SARS regulations. So modernizing and ensuring then that SARS is up to date and can monitor the compliance of businesses and taxpayers alike is quite critical. And as I point out, it comes before the national budget. And also, quite interestingly, of course, we know that the SARS Commissioner's term comes to an end towards April this year, and he's been in office since 2019, and his term was extended in 2024 by the President. But of course, we know that there's also that expectation that we'll be seeing new names touted then for, or the progress sort of for the new SARS commissioner that will be underway. And of course, this all coming at a time when the president is here for the oversight visit of the National Command Centre. But of course, Ayanda, as you hear, it's a hive of activity behind me. So we are expecting the president to come shortly. His address expected within the next hour. And of course, his oversight visit then will start first, and then we will hear that keynote address from him. But all of this, of course, taking place here at the National Command Centre. But for now, Ayanda, it is back to you in studio.
Nosipho Radebe is live to us from Pretoria for that reporting. Thanks very much indeed.